Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, October 13th, and the first weekend in the FPHL 2024 to 25 season is in the books. And yeah, some really interesting stuff last night. And we're going to talk about it here. We're going to cover our exhibition games first. First of all, it's always interesting when Port Huron and Motor City get together, no matter what the circumstances. Very good rivalry. And yeah, so even in an exhibition, these guys said, hey, let's make this exciting. Went to a shootout, and it's Motor City with a 5-4 win. Um, just touching on this real quick, all the goalies played. It kind of split some time up. So yeah, Yoshi Corolla, he ends up saving 17 and 19 for the Prowlers. Looked pretty good. And then John Patrick Ayalto, he goes 13 for 15, excuse me. For the Rockers, it was Bryn Sommerfeld getting the start. He saved 27 of 30. Port Huron really poured it on early and took a 4-2 lead in this game. Noah Makish, I'm sorry. Yeah, Noah Makish. He saved 13 of 14 and was in goal for the shootout. So he gets a win. Shootout was I don't know how this worked out, but it was 4-2. Went to a fourth round for some reason, and but anyway, Ryan Rotondi, he ended up getting the shootout, the winner, and there you go. For the Mississippi SeaWolves and the Blue Ridge Bobcats, they of course played two this weekend. Kind of getting the feel of two games like you usually have during the regular season. And tonight, or last night rather, it was Mississippi getting the win, a 1-goal win. But yeah, look at those shot totals, 59. Now, Mississippi, one of the things they're really trying to focus on in camp is finding the right goaltenders. So, of course, Blake Wyrick is up in the ECHL. So, yeah, they decided to split time with 3 goalies. Interesting strategy. So, yeah, Greg Hussey comes in, pitches a shutout for his time in, which was about 21 minutes. 21 minutes worth of work. 21 for 21. And then we had Trevor Buckmeyer coming in and saved 16 and 19. And then Joe Shepard. I didn't think he was going to be playing for a while because I thought he had some health issues, but doing well enough to play. Saves 16 and 19 and ends up getting the win due to the late goal, late as an extra period, overtime. For the Bobcats, Liam Murray stopped 5 of 8. Yeah, very early on, the ice was pretty tilted, and yet Mississippi ended up taking a 5-0 lead. And the Bobcats stormed back in this. Zach Freiberger, I love that name. He ended up saving 20 of 24. The overtime winner is scored by Noah Hippolyte Smith. Of course, he was with the Zydeco last year and looking to make the SeaWolves roster this year. And then the last game we had, thank God that the situation wasn't worse than it was. Game was delayed by a fire in the kitchen/concessions area, but thankfully just delayed the game a few minutes. They were able to get started, and Taylor Schwandt takes the net for the Danbury Hat Tricks and performs very, very well. Ends up going 15 for 16. And goalie switched off. Michael Love played the rest of the way, saved 17 of 18. For the Hudson Valley Venom, Parker Butler, he started off saving 10 of 13. He ended up taking the loss. It's an exhibition game, yeah. John Moriarty came in and saved 15 of 16. 4-2 win for the Danbury Hat Tricks. About 500 people there, so that's good. I was glad to see that. Yes, Hudson Valley did put in the extra section of seating, so yeah, capacity is about 1,000 in the Ice Time Arena. So yeah, William Chatover, he ends up scoring the game winner midway through the second period for the Danbury Hat Tricks. So those are the exhibition games, and now we change boards. And this also gives you a really good idea as far as how the game reviews are going to look next weekend when we have a full slate of games, all 14 teams playing. Uh, so, this is, we got one board to cover. Just kind of highlight a few games, and then we've got, the main games that we're talking about. And so 2 last night, regular season games, of course, they counted. Watertown Wolves, and they come into Binghamton. Binghamton has their banner raising ceremony, a lot of pomp and circumstance. We saw the cup getting carried out by Captain Tyson Kirkby for one more lap. And then the title defense began, and that could have been very intimidating for the Watertown Wolves, especially not having Tate Leeson available. Leeson had some other things that he had to attend to, so you have a Leeson-less Watertown Wolves coming in, watching a banner raising, and I'll say they came in with a lot of poise and a lot of dedication, hard work on the ice, and they pull off a 5-3 win. This game really wasn't as close as it sounds. Now, yes, the shot differential was pretty big, but Anton Borodkin, wow, what a beast. That was a fantastic goalie performance last night by Borodkin, and he was one of the big difference makers for the Watertown Wolves. All right, so we get into action, and it's just the Black Bears peppering Borodkin with shots, not getting anything through. There is a power play opportunity given to the Wolves on a high-sticking double minor, and Chwetton Blacksmith catches in on the power play, puts the Watertown Wolves up 1-0 at the 15:23 mark of the first period. Despite the Black Bears outshooting the Wolves 20-7, Watertown was on the board first. Not to be outdone, at 16:03, Blake Tosto on the second of those 2 minor penalties, the double minor. He gets a 1-on-none breakaway on a nice pick by Kyle Stefan. Tosto comes in all alone on Borodkin and scores on the backhand, and it's 1-1. The goal was briefly reviewed, but they looked and it's like, okay, no, that's fine. All right, so we get to the second period, and just some uncharacteristic sloppy play from Binghamton in their end, and the Wolves, bam, they go up quickly, 3-1. First goal by Ross Bartlett, a minute 30 in, and then 51 seconds later, it's Kyle Heitzner scoring. Kind of softer goals that I'm sure Connor McAnanima would like to have back, but you can't stop them all. The Wolves are up 3-1, and Binghamton's trying to fight back. Finally, at 5:21, Don Olivieri scores, and now it's 3-2. Watertown storms right back, just short minute later. It's Chwetton Blacksmith once again on the power play again. And we have Watertown doubling up Binghamton 4-2. At the end of 2 shots, we're now 32-13. And Watertown had a 4-2 lead and looked very comfortable in front of a good crowd. Late in the third, after really pushing, finally a mad scramble in front, and Tyson Kirkby gets a juicy rebound, scores in the power play. It's 4-3. Late in the game, McAnanama is pulled for the extra attacker, and Michael Mercurio takes a very nice lazy pass right up center ice and tucks the puck home with 5 seconds left. And there you go. That's the final, 5-3. Even though Binghamton outshot Watertown 44-24. Again, Borodkin was the difference, and also Watertown really controlled the overall pace of the play. Even though they were surrendering a lot of shots, Borodkin just had one of those games. He out goalied Binghamton, and Watertown was able to play their game and comes away with a win. So both of these teams are now 1-1 after the opening weekend. The other game, let's talk about this a little bit. Much better result. Now, of course, things were a little chaotic earlier in the day. Coach Todd McElrath was dismissed as head coach. I'm not going to discuss details. I'll just say it had to happen. It needed to happen, unfortunately. But so Molevac ends up being named the head coach, and it's interesting. Monroe came out with a much better style of play last night compared to Friday night. And so it does end up being an Athens win. Athens are now, they're 2-0. Rock Lobsters are rolling along. But this game was very interesting, very tight. Go through the first period. So Kaysen Gallant, he looks like he might end up being the rookie signing of the year. He had himself a weekend. So Gallant scores at 12:05. Athens goes up, scores on Sean Kuhn. This is the other thing. Again, wrong goaltenders named in this game. It was Sean Kuhn in goal for the Moccasins and Josh Rosenzweig again for Athens, and the wrong goaltenders are listed. And so Jared Stahill has gotten 2 wins, and he's never taken the ice yet. So I hope somehow, some way, those stats get corrected, because Rosenzweig, he played very well this weekend, and he should have 2 wins on his record. Unfortunately, right now he's got nothing. All right, back to the game. 18-14, a late power play opportunity given to the Moccasins, and it is Kyle Stevens. Originally, the goal was given to Rex Moe. I looked at the play, and it's like, nope, Stevens was the one that tucked it home. Moe did get the assist. So it's 1-1 at the end of one. Shots were 10-7 in favor of the Athens. But the Moccasins fans are playing pretty good. It's like, yesterday's game, that stunk. Today, we look pretty good. So we get to the second period. Again, it's Gallant, this time unassisted at 14:03. Gallant 3 goals on the weekend. Not bad for a rookie. And then, let's see, we had... so it's 2-1 Athens at the end of 2. Shots at that point were 22-17. Third period, Brad Ryder scores again. He had himself 3 goals on the weekend. Very nice weekend for Brad. So ties things up. And so teams are fighting back and forth. There's not many shots on goal in that final period. As a matter of fact, there were only 4 apiece. Just a lot of neutral zone play, a lot of tight checking, very disciplined play. And then we had a situation, I've never seen this before in my life. Monroe presses late in the game, thinks they got the goal from Chris Corrigan. The puck deflects past Rosenzweig. They look at it and said, no, played off a high stick, no goal. As a matter of fact, the goal was almost immediately washed out. Immediately, Paul Jean was given the signal, no goal. goes over to the penalty box, confers, and then a 2-minute high sticking minor is assessed to Corrigan. And so not only did Monroe lose the goal that they thought they scored, and I looked at the play. Yeah, it was played off a high stick. Had no problem with that call, but then to assess a penalty on the exact same play, very, very strange. And even though it's really not true, it feels like Gene took the game away from the Moccasins at this point. So Athens goes in the power play, but then they end up with a man in the box. So we're playing 4-on-4. Shinkarik rifles a shot from the point past Kuhn at 19-11, and there you go, 3-2 Athens. I'm not saying Gene affected the outcome of this game, but it just kind of gave that impression. Again, I've never seen the situation where a goal is washed out and then a penalty for the same infraction is given. Just strange. I don't think I can remember seeing that before. But anyway, so Athens improves to 2-0. They get the win. Monroe, again, looked a lot better last night than they did on Friday. Good crowd on hand as well. In Louisiana, you got LSU football. You got a lot of high school football and a lot of things going on. So this was a good crowd. But anyway, so yeah, we had that late goal of 17:37, or late no goal, and that was the difference. But for the game, Kaysen Gallant, 2 goals and an assist. So he factored in all 3 of the Athens goals. Shinkarik, of course, with that game-winning goal, and Rosenzweig stopped 19-21. Again, it was not Jared Stale in goal. For the Moccasins, Kyle Stevens, he scores that power play goal. Brad Ryder gets the other goal. And Sean Kuhn stops 22 of 25. Just, needed one more save. So there we go. So the Moccasins are still looking for their first win. But again, with the improvement we saw in their play last night, I don't think their first win is far off. So anyway, there we go. That is the wrap up for the weekend. Tomorrow we will have stars and standings, which in this case is going to be more just stars, because standings, these are the four teams that played. So everybody else is 0-0. So standings are kind of a wash at this point. But we will talk about my picks, my 5 stars of the game. Going to have a star from each team factoring into this weekend of play, and plus one other one. So tune in tomorrow on YouTube. We will do that. And then don't forget that on Tuesday through Friday, we have our daily podcast news segments on the Flash Audio Network. So please make sure you're tuned into that. Otherwise, we'll see you on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and have yourselves a wonderful week ahead.